Every Halloween, people vanish. Some are found miles away, screaming about things that shouldn't exist. Others are never found at all. These aren't ghost stories. These are the ones police files tried to bury. 3 true Halloween nightmares. You'll wish you never heard them.
I was a college senior in Los Angeles last year, Halloween 2023. I wasn't even planning to go out that night. I had an exam on Monday, zero energy, and my best friend, Jess, was out of town. But around 7 p.m., my roommate Diego barged into my room holding a cheap bottle of whiskey and said, "Come on, man, one last Halloween before we graduate." I didn't even have a costume. He told me to just grab something from the thrift store down the street. So 30 minutes later, I found myself digging through racks of dusty old clothes under flickering fluorescent lights. That's when I saw it. A firefighter's uniform. Heavy jacket, thick gloves, helmet, even the name tag stitched above the pocket. M. Wallace. It looked real, way too real. The tag inside said property of Station 42, Los Angeles Fire Department. The lady at the counter looked uneasy when I handed it to her. "You sure you want that one?" she asked. I laughed. "Yeah, why? Too smoky?" She just shrugged. "Came in with a donation box from an estate sale. Smells like it's been through hell." She wasn't wrong. The jacket reeked of burned rubber and gasoline. But for $20, I didn't care. That night, the party was already in full swing when we got there. Loud music, strobe lights, plastic skeletons everywhere. People loved my costume. Everyone kept saying, "Dude, that looks authentic." But about an hour in, I started feeling off. Like the air around me was getting hotter. The room was packed, sure, but this felt different. My skin prickled and every breath tasted like smoke. Jess FaceTimed me from her hotel room just to see the chaos. When I turned the camera around to show the crowd, she went quiet. "Wait," she said. "Who's standing behind you?" I spun around. Nobody there. Just a wall of people. "You didn't see him?" she asked. "Someone in the same outfit as you, like identical. He was right behind you." I laughed it off, hung up and went to grab another drink. But when I passed a mirror near the bar, my stomach dropped. My reflection wasn't standing the same way I was. It was slightly turned, shoulders angled, helmet tilted, like someone else was inside the suit, mimicking me a few seconds late. That's when the lights flickered. Someone spilled a drink on me, tequila and cola, and I ran to the bathroom to clean it off. The moment I touched the sink, the metal was burning hot. Not warm, hot. Steam rose from the water as I tried to scrub the sticky mess off the jacket. My skin started to stink. Then came the smell, sharp and chemical, like melting plastic. When I looked up into the mirror, I froze. The reflection behind me wasn't mine anymore. It was a man's face, soot-streaked, burned, eyes pale and glassy. He whispered something I couldn't hear, then lifted a charred hand and pressed it against the inside of the glass. I stumbled backward, crashing into the stall. Someone outside started banging on the door. "Hey, you okay in there?" The door wouldn't open. Smoke started filling the room. I was coughing, choking, clawing at the lock until it finally gave way. When the others burst in, the smoke was gone. The room was freezing cold. I was lying on the floor, covered in ash marks. The paramedic said my hands looked like they'd been burned, but my clothes? They were spotless. Not a single scorch mark. The next morning, I went back to the thrift store to return the costume. The place was closed. Windows boarded up overnight. Later that week, Diego texted me a photo he found online, an old news clipping from 2003. It was about Station 42, the one stitched on my jacket. The entire crew had died fighting a warehouse explosion near downtown. The last name listed among the victims, Captain Marcus Wallace, the same name on my uniform. I still have the faint scars on my palms, shaped like fingerprints. Not mine. And sometimes, when I shower, the steam fogs up the mirror just right. and I swear I can see a burnt handprint appear next to mine before it fades. I moved to a quiet suburb in Wisconsin 2 years ago, right after my divorce. The house was small, kind of old, but it felt peaceful. No traffic, no neighbors throwing parties, just silence. Exactly what I needed. By Halloween, I'd only been there a few months. I wasn't planning anything big, just wine, leftovers, and the scary movie. I didn't even bother turning the porch light on for trick-or-treaters. Around 10:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Doorbell camera notification. At first, I thought, great, another raccoon. But when I opened the app, my stomach dropped. Someone was standing on my porch. He was tall, wearing a plague doctor mask, the kind with the long, curved beak and glass eyes, and a long black coat that touched the ground. He didn't knock, didn't say a word, just stared straight into the camera. The footage was so still that at first I thought it was frozen, but then the porch light flickered, and I realized he was breathing. Slow, steady. I kept watching, waiting for him to move, maybe leave, but he didn't. He stood there for 3 minutes and 31 seconds. When he finally turned to walk away, something happened that still makes my skin crawl. His reflection in the glass door didn't move. It just stayed there, facing the camera. I replayed it 3 times. Same thing, every time. I told myself it was a glitch, closed the app, locked all the doors, and went to bed. But my dog, Luna, wouldn't stop growling at the window. Her hackles were up the entire night. Every creak in the wall sounded like footsteps. The next morning, I went outside. The grass was covered in frost, and on the wooden steps were bare footprints. Not boots, not sneakers, human feet. The trail started right in front of the door and ended halfway down the sidewalk, disappearing into the street. I called my neighbor, Pam, who has her own doorbell cam facing my house. We checked her footage together, and that's when things got worse. At 10:07 p.m., her camera showed my porch empty. Then, in a single frame, less than a second, there was a burst of white static, and suddenly, the man was there, like he just appeared. No approach, no shadow. One frame empty, the next frame full. I called the police. They took the footage, but said unless he tried to break in, there wasn't much they could do. 2 weeks later, they called me back. They'd found an abandoned car about a half-mile from my house, a stolen sedan, burned out near the woods. Inside, they found a plague doctor mask, black gloves, and a cheap burner phone. There was only one video saved on it. The detective showed it to me. It was recorded through a window. My window. You can see me sleeping in bed. The camera zooms in slightly, and there's this faint breathing sound, then a whisper, "You move the house." The timestamp on the file said 9:01 p.m., more than an hour before he appeared at my door. I couldn't stay there after that. I sold the house, moved to Minnesota, new number, new everything. For a while, things were normal again. Until last Halloween. At exactly 3:31 a.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert. The notification read, "Front door, movement detected." The problem is, I don't have a doorbell camera anymore. When I opened the link, it pulled up a live feed. My old porch in Wisconsin. Same camera angle, same lighting, and there he was again. The plague doctor, standing completely still. But this time, there was someone else visible, just barely, in the reflection of the glass door. It was me, standing inside the house, watching him.
It was Halloween night, 2023. I was driving home from a party that ended early after someone spiked the punch. My phone battery was dead, the GPS wasn't working, and the fog was so thick I could barely see 10 feet ahead. I recognized almost nothing on that country road, just fields, mailboxes, and darkness.
After 20 minutes of wrong turns, I finally spotted a porch light in the distance. Relief hit me hard. Maybe I could ask for directions or at least borrow a phone charger. The house looked old, peeling paint, one flickering bulb, and a plastic skeleton still swinging from last Halloween. But light was spilling from the windows and I could hear faint music inside. I climbed the steps and knocked. No answer. So I tried again. The door creaked open on its own. "Hello?" I called out. "Sorry to bother you, I'm just lost." That's when I noticed something strange. The air smelled like burned candles and something sweet, like rotting fruit. The living room was filled with Halloween decorations, fake cobwebs, carved pumpkins, even a bowl of candy by the door. Except the candy was melted into a sticky black puddle. "Anybody home?" I said again, stepping inside. I could hear muffled voices deeper in the house, a low, rhythmic chant, almost like people whispering in unison. I thought maybe it was some weird late-night Halloween ritual or just a themed party. I followed the sound into the hallway. That's when my phone, dead for the last hour, buzzed in my pocket. One new text, no number. Just 3 words. "You're in the wrong house." My heart started racing. I spun around, but now closed. The whispering got louder, clearer. Words I didn't understand, like something out of a language book written backward. I backed away slowly, trying to find another exit. Then I saw them. 3 people standing at the end of the hallway. They were wearing masks, crude, hand-carved wood faces with hollow eyes. Each held a candle dripping with black wax. None of them moved. I tried to explain. "I'm sorry, I got lost. I didn't mean to," but one of them raised a finger to their lips. "Shh." That single sound froze me, because it didn't sound human. It was distorted, like a voice coming through a broken speaker. The lights flickered. When they came back on, 2 of them were suddenly closer. The third one was gone. I bolted for the front door, yanking it open, but the porch was gone, literally gone. Instead of my car, there was just a black void stretching into nothing. Then from behind me, a voice whispered right in my ear. "We've been waiting for you." The lights blew out. The next thing I remember was waking up on the side of the road with my car door open and the engine still running. It was morning. No fog, no house, just flat fields in every direction. I thought maybe I'd fallen asleep and dreamed the whole thing until I noticed something sitting in the passenger seat. A wooden mask, hand-carved, hollow eyes, and written across the inside, in what looked like ash or soot, were the same 3 words from the text message. The wrong house. I threw it out the window and drove home as fast as I could. 2 days later, curiosity got the better of me. I went back down that same stretch of road with a friend. We didn't find any houses, not even a foundation, just a small patch of burnt grass and melted candle wax.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more scary stories.